Welcome to Peter and Roughie's Football Show, your daily fix of football chat on STV. The headlines to talk about tonight: Hibs closed the gap on Rangers to 2 points after that win over Livingston last night. David Moyes criticises Real Sociedad for sacking him too early, and Zlatan will join a host of stars as he guides Sweden to the European Championships. Just a few of the talking points Alan Rough and myself, Peter Martin, will be discussing with our bootroom guest. He's scoring goals for fun at the moment, Falkirk's John Baird. Absolutely delighted to have him with us. Well, it's game on, it's tit for tat, it's points in the bag. Hibs on an unbelievable run, Roughie. 13 wins, 14 unbeaten, 8 wins on the trot.
Yeah, as John will tell you, when you're at a team with that kind of confidence, everybody's buzzing. Now, not just the players, but everybody in the whole stadium, the staff, everybody connected with the club. And it just lifts the whole place. You know, it's a joy to go in. You enjoy training, and you just can't wait till the next game comes, and it's an incredible run they're on.
Yeah, let's not waste any time. Can you catch them? Can you win the league?
It's going to be difficult with the resources the two bigger clubs have got, but we'll give it a go.
Yeah. Is there a confidence in the side now?
Totally. There's always been a confidence, but it's I would say probably a different sort of confidence that we're winning games. The boys are already Monday looking forward, talking about Saturday's game, and looking forward to getting out there again.
Yeah, on the occasions we've been lucky enough to have you on the show, John, you've always talked about the fact that you just want to play, and when you get that regular goal scoring run, you know, that's where you're at your best. Do you feel as if you're playing the best football of your career now?
Yes, I think so, but that's probably down to more importantly the team. I think any striker that's on a run of scoring goals, you can't do that if the team's not playing well. So the players round about me are contributing to me getting my goals.
Yeah.
I was going to say, John, do you think the disappointment of the cup final last year has been the inspiration to do better and get back and taste it again?
I would probably agree with that. Myself and Mark Kerr weren't involved in it, but you see a difference for the team that I joined last year and the team that what's happening now in the dressing room. It's different animals, if you want to say. They've got this drive, and they're all looking to get themselves into that sort of stage, especially younger ones. There's a lot of younger players in their team, and the older ones just enjoying playing with them, to be honest.
How important is the gaffer in all of this?
Major. It's one of the best gaffers I've worked under, to be honest, and I don't see how any of the boys in the team wouldn't enjoy working underneath him. They may be spoilt because they're younger and they've not had many gaffers, but he's a top man. Yeah,
of course, Peter Houston has got a great team spirit, Roughie, there. Alan Stubbs, I mean, Paul Hanlon mentioned prior to last night's game that they also have that great team spirit. It's shaping up to be a really good battle now, Falkirk. Maybe we weren't thinking they would be in the mix, but they're close by.
No, I don't think they would be up there with Hibs and Rangers. I think we all thought they were good enough to be in the playoffs, and they proved that if they can keep winning, I'm sure Rangers and Hibs won't want to go to Falkirk at any time, you know, and think they're going to go away with 3 points. So that's been the good thing. We all thought when Hearts went up it'd just be a two-horse race, but it hasn't, and Falkirk have made that division exciting.
And I can see great similarities between the predicament of John Baird and the predicament of James Keatings. James Keatings was just desperate to play, wanted to play as a striker. 5 goals in 2 games. This is the best way to endear yourself to the fans.
John will tell you, you know, as a striker, you know you're going to go through a quiet time, but when you're really hitting the back of the net, you know, sometimes it's difficult to stop it, and you don't want it to stop. You just want every game to come, every chance you get, you know, you've got a chance of hitting the back of the net, and that's what's happening with James Keating as well. Yeah.
Have you changed your mind in the title run-in? It's a long way to go, but are you changing your mind week in, week out as Rangers and Hibs and Falkirk go head to head?
No, I think Rangers have still got the resources there. You know, they haven't. Okay, Hibs beat them, but they haven't done anything wrong. You know, it's just that Hibs and Falkirk have done everything right, and I think in the run-in, I think they've got the resources and the player pool to see them through.
Yeah, of course, it was a great win and a good hat-trick for you, John. I presume the match ball is already in the box. It's framed, you know, to commemorate.
Well, actually, the match ball, I gave that to a friend. I promised his granddaughter that. I said the next time I get a hat-trick. So when I got out to the foyer after the game, she was sitting there waiting it, so wrestled it off me. So she just made somebody else happy, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we always ask strikers if they set themselves targets, but 13 so far. I mean, Roughie, we love a bet. I'm going to back him for 25. This is your chance.
Yeah, we love a bet.
This is your chance to get the meal back that you've been giving me.
Nothing against John. just for the bet. Just for the bet. You know, just for a wee bet to keep us going.
Yeah.
Let's go for 30.
What?
30.
You're going to say...
No, I said he won't get 30. You're saying he will get 30.
No, I'm saying he'll get 20.
Let's stretch it to 30.
Well, let's go to 25 and make a battle of it. Right. 25 is...
25, no bet.
25.
He's got to get 26.
No, I'm saying you'll score 25. Can you...
Right, okay, yeah, I'll take the bet. Yeah,
that's good enough, right? So if he gets 25 or above, you take me out for the meal and the most expensive bottle on there. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fantastic, Baird. All I'm saying to you is don't let me down, son.
No.
I mean, honestly.
No pressure.
Avoid stretching. Do all the stretches. Don't want your hamstring or anything. I mean, is there do you feel confident enough? What's the highest amount you scored?
22 I got in a season.
Yeah.
That was when I was younger in the 3rd division. But I'll be honest, I don't set targets. I just look to get out and score goals every game and see where it ends up in the season.
Yeah, a lot of Falkirk fans out there will be delighted with your contribution. There are other players there that have caught the eye as well. Who's impressed you in your team?
There's that many, to be honest. Peter Grant, he's a right good top professional, and just your defender that you're looking for. He ticks the boxes, as you say. Probably Luke Leahy, left back. We signed a goalkeeper and one for Aberdeen. He had a wee bit shaky at the start, but he's a young boy. In the last 4 or 5 weeks, he showed how he's a top goalkeeper, and he's an Ireland under 21 international. And probably Mark Kerr as well. The manager praised him on Saturday. He's one of the fittest at the club. He's 33-year-old and just a really good player.
Yeah, I think he's been a steal for them, Roughie. I like Mark Kerr. I'm amazed that a club didn't take a wee chance on him in the top flight again. He's still got something to offer, I think.
No, I think every club needs a player like that. Motherwell get Keith Lasley, Aberdeen, Barry Robson. That kind of player. Bags of experience, and when he's playing in that central role, everybody looks at him. And if he's on his game, then everybody else ups their game to the way he's playing. Yep.
Of the other contenders for the playoff spots, ironically, your old team, Wraith Rovers, are going to be in the mix, and the team you face on Saturday as well.
Queen of the South, yeah. There've been a lot of changes at Queen of the South. A lot of the players moved on to the SPL and stuff, but you kind of knew in January last year they were moving on, so the club had time to get their targets in for this season. But it's a lot. It's 7 points, I think, 8 points are from us. That's 3 games they've got to get back in us. I don't see that happening. Yeah,
it's one of those games, Roughie, that you now look at, you see yourself, they're all must-win games. I think it's a great division. I mean, Alloa have obviously been cut adrift.
No, as John said there, when you're winning games, it doesn't matter who's coming up the next week. You look forward to it because everybody's on top of their game, and scoring goals is, you just want the game to come quick enough and move on to game after game.
Yep, we'll be focusing on the Championship as well as the Premiership, League 1 and League 2 on Saturday afternoon. If you get the chance, you can join us from 2 o'clock on STV Edinburgh and STV Glasgow for the Saturday football show. We'll bring you the goals. We've got reporters at key games, and I'm really looking forward to the fact, Roughie, that we've got that bet on now. Every time John hits the back of the net, I'll be jumping up and down in the studio with you.
Yeah, so will I. A bet's a bet, but I don't want to see him not stop. I don't want to see him not score at the end of the season. I'm not like that, but let's hope it stops at 24.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is still a good season for him, Roughie. And one other man I want to get your thoughts on. We're going to talk about Zlatan Ibrahimovic. If we're talking about players that are going, he's one of the world's best.
Peter, we spoke about it, it's the one thing that Scotland lack, is that kind of player, and all the big clubs have all got one, and when the going gets tough, they're the ones that take you to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we talked about Wales with having a Gareth Bale. You look at, the Republic of Ireland don't have an out-and-out star, and it was painful watching them, but even more painful when you start to see everybody that's going now.
Yeah, it is, and we saw Ronaldo last year single-handedly taking Portugal to a big final, and that's what it's like when you've got that kind of player. You rely on them. I'm sure Falkirk rely on John coming up with goals as well.
Absolutely, he's the Zlatan of the Falkirk side, to be honest with you. Just can't wait for the book. We'll talk more with John Baird next. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's Football Show. Alan Rough is alongside me, Peter Martin, here on STV, and our bookroom guest is Falkirk striker John Baird. And the good news is Roughie, our producer, is now going to do a little graphic, a brilliant picture of John Baird, and we're going to do the counter. So every time he scores, it'll just go up on the Saturday and just flick up goal by goal. The pressure's on, by the way. And I'll be texting the wee man every Monday. Go on, my son. Anyway, we talked about teams going to the European Championships, of course. Ukraine booked their place as well with a 1-1 in Slovenia. So they'll be going to the European Championships. And I think after 5 failed attempts, they must have been wondering whether they were ever going to go to a major championships.
Yeah, and they're another team, that fantastic players, fantastic club players, and they'll be happy to be in there. But the thing I noticed was the pots have come out already, and it looks as if England are going to get one of the home-based players, home-based teams anyway, so it'll be interesting to see which one they get. Yeah, I was listening to Martin O'Neill. I think everybody's sobered up, maybe not from the Republic of Ireland celebrations, but it's a case that he's got Roy Keane. He's been singing his praises. The two of them as a management duo, you wouldn't have expected, as Martin puts it, bad cop and bad cop together, but it seems to have worked for them. No, and I think although Roy Keane gets some bad press from time to time, I think it's just the way he is. He's I don't know the word I'm looking for here, but he is very people go, oh, it's a bit off, but the thing he said, I remember him after the game, he said, well, let's hope it's better than the last time I was there when he walked. Which is brilliant. Everything, the hotel better be good, the training facilities better be good, and they better have more than 5 balls this time. Yeah, well, the reason I mentioned that, John, is because Martin O'Neill, he was being interviewed on radio this morning, and he said, and it's a classic line, I don't care what Alex Ferguson said about his world-class players, Roy Keane was a world-class player. It was one of those sensational digs. He was just a top-draw player, world-class, no doubt. I think the problem is his standards are that high that maybe other people, when he's went to club level as a manager, couldn't reach that. Maybe that's how he comes across like that. He is a top player. Have you ever come across a player like that in your dressing room where you thought, I'm never going to be able to please that guy? Probably Andy Mullen. Yeah. He gave me Andy when I was younger. Clyde, he looked after us when I was YTS, and then he took me to St Mirren, and every day he would threaten me saying I was going back in the bin if I never trained properly. Well, to be fair, he was he had a lot of experience. I think he's one of the oldest players, Roughie, ever to play in the top flight. Yeah, I think he kept playing till I think it was 46, something like that. But he kept himself fit, and I remember we had a wee charity football game when we were allowed 2 ex-players to play just with the partners, and I phoned up Andy to come, thinking it was just going to be a light-hearted day, but he was definitely not going to get beaten that game. Yeah. There was no way anybody was getting by him. It didn't matter what age they were. Well, the bad news, Baird, is I still play with him in an overage games, and he's still demanding. Yeah. To be very honest with you. Just one little point. Roy Keane did mention he wanted to get back into management, Roughie. All I'm saying is I'm putting 2 and 2 together here and making 5. But if he wants to get back into management, you can bet your bottom dollar we can start to draw conclusions about who might be sniffing around him. Yeah, and sometimes you say once you've had a chance, you don't get another one. It'd be interesting to see if he would throw his name into that. Again, we're talking about Davy Moyes, and we know Davy Moyes would want to stay at high end of English football. But again, I would like to see what his interest would be as well. I know the money side of it, they could never ever compete, but I think there comes a stage at some time in your career when reference.
I'm take him off, Roughie. It's not happening.
Oh well, I'm saying it might not happen just now, but I mean there comes a time that with the disappointments you have, you know, at Man U and then Real Sociedad, you might want to be comfortable.
He's one of those. I can't see him. There was a big job for him down south, and you know, Blackburn Rovers is where he's decided to stay. David Moyes quite critical, actually, Roughie, of Real Sociedad. He turned down 2 or 3 big Premier League clubs. They might not have been in the best of fettle at the time that he was offered the jobs, but I think he feels as if there's a wee bit of disloyalty from Real Sociedad. Well,
I think the disloyalty is he's obviously went there and saw where Real Sociedad are. They're not one of the higher Spanish teams, so there had to be a plan there, and I think the way he's talking was it was a 2 or 3 year plan, and they just never gave him the time. But that happened to him at Man United as well, so I would think it's their loss eventually, because sometimes you can stick out. I can't remember what manager it was saying that most jobs you go into when it's right at the start, it's a 4 year, but most of the managers don't get that length of time.
Yeah, it's a cutthroat game now, John. I mean, it's getting more and more, give us a quick fix.
Well, I'm surprised some managers actually come out and say I've got a 3-4 year plan, because it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to win the next game, or try and win the next game.
Yeah, absolutely. When managers say it's a long-term project, it's because they want to try and see out the 3 years, Roughie. I think the average for a manager is 11 months.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Mark Votta coming in and saying he had a 6-year plan. Yeah, it's all good. It's all right if you can get the 6 years, but again, they weren't waiting about. You know, I think he had 2 or 3 years, Matt, and they just weren't waiting. They need success right away.
Yeah, I mean, listen, your man here right next to us, John. I mean, players now, it's very difficult to plan long term as well.
Oh, totally. There's no really any long term contracts. Most you get is 2 year maximum if you're lucky, and a lot of it can be sometimes window to window.
Yeah, I mean, how important is it for you that you're settled there with Falkirk now? Is this one of those clubs where you just feel it's the right fit?
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Probably the best when I play football, my best is when I'm settled. And at the moment, Falkirk are happy with me, so I'm happy to be there. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we wish you well on that.
Well, not 100%, but
yeah, do
all right. Yeah.
Don't want to do 100%. Roughie, I've got to get your thoughts on what was an emotional night last night. I watched England against France. You know, fair play to the French players. They might not have been too up for playing that game. On the wishes of the French Football Federation, they played the match, didn't win it, but it was emotional at the start. I think a real sign of solidarity with England.
Yeah, and that's what football's all about. You know, it's about putting a smile on people's faces. I think it was a Scotland manager who said when Scotland are doing well, you can walk down Sauchiehall Street and everybody's got a smile on their face, whether they're interested in football or not. And that's what that game was all about. It was trying to take the bad memories that had happened over the last 2 or 3 days and made people try and concentrate on the football. But you're right, it was a very emotional. And as a football player, I don't know how some of the French players went through that 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes sport can work wonders in a healing process. I can remember many games where 2 teams have got together to try and help fans just feel as if they're part of a family, and that certainly was the sense, especially at the French national anthem last night.
Yeah, just the way they obviously went about things before the game kicked off. It was more about that than the game. Really, nobody really spoke about the game. It was just showing a fight against everything else that's been happening.
Yeah, and of course, 2 good goals. Rooney keeps scoring, but Del Ali, that was a great goal, Roughie.
Well, we spoke about it, you know, about our young players, you know, and comes a time, you know, when it's a friendly, if there's a young boy out there showing a wee bit more special than others, throw them in and see what they can do. And certainly England did that, and they want to watch, because that boy will be bursting to play in every game, and it could be us that come in the end of it if any more of these young players keep breaking through.
Yeah, we've got a World Cup qualifying campaign to come. John, do you see enough talent and young players coming through that you have optimism for Gordon Strachan, what the job he has?
Yeah, I do, especially obviously at my own club, where they set up, they've got pride in the fact that they bring a lot of young boys through, and even under the boys that are in the first team now, there's players that are arguably could go on and have better careers.
Yeah, fingers crossed, Roughie, that we do get to a major championships. It's hard to believe. Nine tournaments now.
Yeah, it's going to be hard next year, watching it with all the countries there, and
British based.
yeah, disappointing bit is that we were better than two of them, are equal to Poland, better than the Republic in the 1-1 games. So that'll be the hard one, but we'll have to pick a team.
Yeah,
we'll have to support somebody.
Yeah, we're going to have to support somebody. That's another bet, Roughie. We always say gamble responsibly. I'm going to think about it now. I'm not going to have steak and a pepper sauce this time. I'm maybe going to go for something different. The bet is on John Baird to score 25 goals. I'm going to be backing him all the way, as I did today. Thanks for joining us, John. From Roughie myself, good night.